Welcome back, you guys. Here we are to talk about last night's amazing UFC 249, which from top to bottom, like we told you a couple days ago, was going to be amazing. It was exactly that. Dude, Gaethje was amazing. Henry Cejudo's retiring, but he still beat Dominic Cruz, solidifying himself as one of the best bantamweights. Oh, man, I mean, the killers like Ngannou, Cater. I mean, did you see the great grappling by Bryce Mitchell?
Yeah, that fight was actually my favorite fight of the night.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about my favorite fight in a little bit, but let's start at the very beginning. The light heavyweight division, Ryan Spann defeated Sam Alvey by a split decision. Wally, what'd you think of that performance by Sam Alvey? I thought it was a great performance by him.
It was a great performance. He looked good. He looked really good. Yeah, and I really think that was the best way to start this card because everybody was watching. Imagine if the first fight was a snooze. Like nobody.
And you always say that, Wally. You always talk about the first fight has to set the tone for the rest of the night. And this was the perfect example of doing so.
Yeah, it has to. And Sam Alvey looked great, always smiling. I liked how his walkout when he was shaking the crowd, and there is no crowd. You know, it was great. It was great. It was great from the beginning to top. This card was great, but yeah, this first fight was great. Ryan Spann deserved that win, I believe.
A lot of people expected Ryan Spann to go in there and take Sam Alvey's head off.
Yeah, but
when that didn't happen, I really think Ryan Spann, we've seen a lot more of his game. You know what I mean? Yeah. You have to understand in his last couple of performances, we didn't see, the full 15 minutes that we should have. Yeah. The last time he went a full 15 rounds was against Luis Henrique, and that was 4 fights ago. So, I mean, this really showed us a lot compared to what we've seen out of him. We've seen that he could do it with somebody with the likes of Sam Alvey. Like I spoke about earlier, he beat Emmanuel Swarty to get into the UFC. I mean, the kid's on a roll. He just had another name like Sam Alvey added to the list.
Yeah.
The future could be bright.
The future can be bright. There's some holes in his game, like Sam Alvey cashed him many times with that some sort of overhand right hook, if you remember. So there's some shit to work on, but it was a great performance by him and by Sam. Maybe a little bit weird, maybe because there was no crowd. Maybe that was good for him because he's used to fight without crowd. So, very good fight to start the card.
Now, in the featherweight matchup, like you said, your favorite fight of the night, Bryce Mitchell and Charles Rosa, really showed you guys how grappling could be great in MMA. If you guys did not like that performance, you guys are just boring, if you ask me. Yeah. It was great, back and forth. I mean, how many opportunities did Bryce Mitchell have to get Charles Rosa in that twister? I've never seen somebody use so many openings to get to one move. I mean, as you can tell, he loves it. He's perfected it, and he's going to attack you from every angle with it.
Yeah, it's amazing. I like how he transitioned when he can't get his hand behind his neck, so he just starts hitting the body with those nasty elbows. So there's so much stuff you can do. Maybe he will do to the Twister War what other fighters like Tony Ferguson do with the rubber guard. Yes. They use their elbows and roll. Yeah, and you don't have really an answer for that. I think that Bryce Mitchell looked amazing. We've seen level to the grappling game, but I don't think that even in grappling matches, in like jiu-jitsu tournaments, you don't have that much twister attempt.
No, my dream matchup now that I've seen him grapple the way he does, I want to see him versus T-City.
Oh, yeah, it would be great. But,
I think it would be amazing.
It would be amazing. It would be amazing. It's a great fight.
I think Bryce is like a fight or two away from that. Yeah. But I mean, the grappling, I would love to just see that. If they fought now, I think T-City opens him up standing and just fucks him and bangs him out that way. But if it went to the ground, it could be anyone's ball game. It would be interesting to see whose jiu-jitsu is actually better using it in an MMA setting.
I don't know what will be his next fight. It's thankfully a top ranked guy. But what I know is the next fight, he needs those shorts, those camo shorts.
That's they already said he's getting the camo shorts for sure. Yeah. Dana gave the approval to the bus. We're getting the goddamn camo shorts. Bryce Mitchell, You don't got to call for it no more, brother.
Yeah, he deserves it.
Now, one of my favorite fighters, obviously, we've talked to him multiple times on this show, Mr. Vicente Luque, went in there and got a beautiful doctor stoppage in between, or it was in the third round against Nico Price. It was 3 minutes and 37 seconds into that round. It was the first stoppage of the night, and it was actually the only stoppage in the prelims. If you would have looked at this card and I said, hey, there was only going to be one stoppage, you would have been like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
But it was a great one. Let me tell you what, it was a back and forth matchup. Vicente Luque's got a chin, but he is a silent assassin, and he took it to Nico Price. He gave Nico Price everything he could handle.
Yeah, he gave him everything. Nico Price fought very well. It was it was a war. Yeah,
they both threw the entire kitchen sink at each other. And Vicente was able to withstand the damage better, because I'm not going to say that he was giving it to him more, because they were both giving it to each other. There was many of times in that fight where I was like, ooh, Nico might really hurt Vicente and put him out. But then there was multiple opportunities where either Vicente would get hit or Nico would get hit, and they would counter right back. It was hit one, give one, hit one. You know what I mean? It was an amazing performance by these two gentlemen. I loved watching it. I will literally, when people ask me about fights, I will show them this fight and be like, this is what MMA is about.
Yeah. And I don't know, but when you got an eye, you shut somebody's eye like that, I think that Nico Price could keep on fighting. It's just that he can't see, you know?
Yes.
So.
But I think it's best for his long-term career.
It is.
That they did step in.
Yeah, of course, but when you think of it, can it be a strategy, like to try to hit the eye and get it shut down? Because majority of those those last medical stoppage we had are due to an eye getting shot. So so I don't know. Vicente Luque absorbed maybe punches way better than Nico Price, but great fight. Both of them, great performance, and
they both have fucking chins. If the main event wasn't so good, I think we would be talking about this fight way more right now.
Yeah, agree.
Now, in the women's strawweight division, Carla Esparza defeated Michelle Waterson. The scorecards read 30-27, 29-28, and 27-30. They eventually gave the nod to Carla Esparza. I'm so irritated right now, even just thinking about this, because I was so pissed on the fact that they gave Carla Esparza this fight. If you ask me, I thought Michelle Waterson did everything that she needed to do to get the victory. When they gave it to Esparza, I was almost puzzled personally. I know other people feel the other way. I know some people say that it was a very well-deserved victory for Carla. But if you ask me, Karate Hottie got robbed.
I don't know. For me, I think Carla kind of controlled the fight. So maybe that was what going well for her when it comes to the judges' scores. So I can see your opinion. I can see people saying that Michelle deserved the win. But for me, I think that Carla did deserve the win for this fight.
Now, it's not the worst, robbery in the world. I could see it. Like I said, I'm not super, super mad, but I totally felt like Karate Hottie won that fight. Next fight, another questionable decision in my eyes. Alexei Oleinik beat Fabricio Verdum 28-29, 29-28, 29-28. This could have went either way. I thought, in my opinion, Verdum could have won or Oleinik. I literally turned to my wife and I was like, I would not want to be a judge for this one. This was gonna suck.
Yeah. You can go either way. Oleinik actually surprised a lot of us, maybe all of us,
with his striking. Yeah. Oh my goodness, bro! When I seen him putting it on Verdum in the first, I was like, holy shit, he's gonna knock him out.
Yeah.
What the hell? Oleinik's gonna knock him out.
He looked very good in the first round. Maybe he was pushing too hard in that first round. That's why in the second and third he didn't look that good. But it was a very close fight.
Let's put this into perspective for people, okay? We talked about Alexei Oleinik all the time. He has 73 fights in MMA, 59 wins. Only 8 of those wins have came by knockout.
Yeah.
I honestly thought he was going to knock out Verdum last night. It was wild.
He is a jiu-jitsu artist.
100%. His submissions is like 40-something submissions.
Even his submission defense, when Fabricio had that armbar, the way he escaped. Oleinik is a tremendous fighter. I really like. It's too bad that we see him maybe at his final chapter of his career in the UFC. Like, I would love to see him younger in this. The man defeated Fedor in a fight.
Listen, like, I'm all for like all those old guys in the heavyweight division to just fight each other. Like Arlovsky, Verdum, you know what I mean? Like, I just want to see all those guys just go at. Let's bring back Rampage to fight in the heavyweight division.
Yeah, let's have some fun.
You know what I mean? Like, can we? Like, I know they talked about like a legacy division, but they're never gonna do that. But you know what? Honestly, Verdum's a guy that I could see going to like a Bellator.
The problem is Verdum, even with his right now his physique, he can still choke anybody out. So
exactly.
So you don't. So we can
no matter what.
Yeah, if you have you in a guillotine, like you're going to sleep.
Well, if he has me in a guillotine, I'm in a bad situation.
I don't care. I don't care if you're. I don't care if you're Francis Ngannou or you're a Stipe. If you're in his guillotine, you're going to sleep. So
the only problem is you got to get Francis's neck, and to get Francis's neck, you got to get close enough to Francis. And we'll talk about getting too close to Francis in a little bit later. Right now, let's get into Anthony Pettis defeating Donald Cowboy Cerrone by unanimous decision. This one I did agree with. I love the performance by Showtime. He looked great. Cowboy also looked good. I thought Donald was going to show up. Cowboy showed the fuck up. I'm not mad at his performance. I'm not mad at, it was a great way to cap off the prelims heading into what was a great main card.
Yeah. Of course, it was going to be a great fight. We had a great fight. Did you think that Donald deserved the win or not?
100%. I thought Donald lost that fight.
Okay.
I thought Showtime won the fight.
Okay.
I mean, what I seen, I thought Showtime won 1 and 3. Yeah. I'd give Cowboy 2.
He was more active than him. Showtime was in that fight more than Cowboy, I believe. Cowboy looked good. Cowboy looked great, but it's just that it was Showtime night.
Yeah, 100%. Now, in the heavyweight division to start off the main card, Greg Hardy went in there and defeated Yorgan De Castro by unanimous decision, 30-27, 30-27, 30-27. I don't agree with the 30-27.
Yeah.
I could see a split decision here. I could see them giving it to Hardy because Yorgan, I don't think he gave enough to win that fight. I think there was enough output. One thing that Greg Hardy did prove was that he is athletic enough to hang with that middle of the pack heavyweight. Yeah. My thing is it a little too late to get his fighting game, his MMA, where it needs to be for his fighting to be where his athleticism is?
I'm not sure about that because thankfully for him, he's in this heavyweight division where if you have enough power, you may climb the ladder pretty quick because one shot is all it takes in that division with those gloves.
But that's the problem with Greg Hardy. You can't really rush him right now. He's only 31 though. So, I mean, in the heavyweight division, we have seen guys flourish into their 40s. I believe Randy Couture won his title in his 40s. Yeah. So, I mean, there's guys out there who have done it and who can do it. My thing is, did Greg Hardy not sustain enough damage in his football career to give himself enough, to take on a fighting career?
Oh, I don't know. He's not going out. The people are not knocking him out cold. So
no, but he has, I'm pretty sure at least once or twice in his football career been knocked unconscious.
Maybe no. The thing that really kind of was sad in this fight is when De Castro was trying to leg kick, and when Greg Hardy moved his leg, so his toes hit his Greg Hardy's knee. So that's why De Castro wouldn't keep. He couldn't keep on keeping that.
And because that was those in the second round. I want to say that was early in the second round that De Castro broke his foot. So pretty much from there is really when Hardy was able to open up his game plan and really relinquish more on a Yorgan De Castro. Great point that you bring up the broken foot. obviously, if Jorgen wouldn't have broken his foot, it probably would have been a completely different situation. I still don't think it was 30-27.
No, but he would have.
I gave Jorgen the
kicking.
first. It was a toss-up in the second, and Greg Hardy won the third.
Maybe 2 or 3 more kicks in that leg, because that leg was bruised. So maybe 2 or more, 3 kicks.
It looked
and you
like
could see
a
him,
ham hock.
Yeah.
Like you could see the mark on the outside of his right leg. Jorgen De Castro was eating it up. And honestly, this was a guy who made it to the UFC off leg kicks, if you remember.
Yeah.
So if he had not broken his foot, how many more leg kicks do you think Greg Hardy would have been able to withstand?
I don't know, maybe 2 or 3. Maybe Greg Hardy wouldn't go to the ground, but he will really slow him down, and then he can hit him with those haymakers, because he was swinging De Castro. De Castro was really trying to take his head off. So, but it is what it is. Greg Hardy did perform well. It was a big, it's a big win for him.
He did really well. I don't know really what is going to be next for him. I really think they need to pull the reins back. I don't think they should throw him to the Sharks right now. Don't give him somebody, in the top 15. You can give him somebody right on the outside of the top 15 and he'll be fine. Yeah. Let him learn his game. Let his fighting IQ get to where his athleticism is, and you'll have a very dangerous heavyweight on your hands.
Yeah, agreed.
Now we have a very dangerous 145-pound featherweight on our hands, and that man is Calvin Kattar. And with one beautiful elbow in the second round, he took Jeremy Stephens out, finished it up on the ground with some punches. It was all she wrote from there. When I first seen it, I thought it was a right straight, and he brought it in and just boom, hit him with that elbow. It was beautiful. It was honestly probably the cleanest blow up until that point of the night.
Yeah, I said that in my prediction. I said that Jeremy Stephens was going to win the fight. I was very wrong, because Calvin
is a bad dude.
It looked great. Like the performance was amazing. I didn't think that maybe he will win by knockout, but it is what it is. He finished him.
Give me the Zabit rematch.
Yeah,
full camp. I would love to see that. If not, I don't really know right now off the top of my head. Maybe even at T-City, I would love to see that fight. Honestly, there's a couple of good matchups right there for Kattar, but honestly, I would love to see him versus Zabit one more time.
Zabit won that Ortega fight, maybe. So we don't know where we're going.
Versus Yair.
Yeah, there's a lot of great fights in that
versus Yair Rodriguez would be really good.
Yeah, those youngsters. There's a lot of great fight in this division.
Calvin Kattar, honestly, he could be 1 or 2 fights away from Alexander Volkanovski.
Yeah, one big win, and you're right on the win
over a top 5 contender. He's right there.
We don't have we don't have a clear number 1 contender. So
not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna rematch obviously Max and Volkanovski. But if Volkanovski wins, though, it's wide open.
Yeah, but sometimes, if Holloway isn't ready for a rematch, there's a lot of shit going on in this MMA world. So
yes, exactly. Yeah. Especially right now, in this day and age, with the whole COVID-19, anything is possible. Kattar, now in the heavyweight division, Francis Ngannou needed all of 20 seconds to prove that Jorginho Rozenstruik was not enough. He finished it up with a nasty clubbing left hand that literally put Jorginho to sleep in one full swoop. And then after he was already asleep, he finished it up with about 3 more to the head.
Yeah. I believe like he was thinking that, let's finish this fight. Like when he started, you see the first exchanges, he said, why am I even fighting? Let's just, I will walk towards you and finish you. And this is what he have that power. Like he can walk and finish you like with 2 or 3 blows. Like it's amazing. It's scary. Francis, I really believe he's reaching out a whole new level in MMA. So
so when they talk about there's different levels, Francis has leveled up.
Francis
was like a level below Stipe and everybody.
Yeah.
Guess what, you guys? He's gaining ground.
He's
it only took a matter of time. That he's only been training MMA for like 5-6 years, I believe.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude is very new to this, and he's obviously adapting it very quickly. I would be interested to see if somebody like a Stipe could get him to the ground. That's what he wants. He said, I don't care if DC's the champion. I want Stipe first. That's the match I want because he beat me already.
Yeah, and he deserves the rematch against Stipe.
100%.
100%. Yeah, he deserves it.
I think it's
scary.
Just scary. I mean, Curtis Blaydes, look how great Curtis Blaydes has looked. And the one thing that's stopping him from a title opportunity is Francis Ngannou every single time.
And Francis have a great chin because, I mean, Stipe hit Francis with some good shots, and he can absorb a shot. So if I'm Francis with that power, I wouldn't even care about if I'm getting punched. I would have my hands low just to keep the fight standing up and just throw and kill people. This is what I will do if I was Francis. But
okay,
man,
so here's what I'm thinking, bro. He might kill somebody one day, though.
Possible. Imagine if
I honestly thought, for a second, I was like, oh fuck, is he dead?
He can't. Yeah.
I was like, did he kill that man?
That's why the referee in those fights, it cannot.
You gotta be quick, bro.
Yeah, it has to be
quick. Yamasaki cannot be
no,
in that
no. First of all, he's too small. Second, no, he can't. It needs to be a Herb Dean or Sure. I even have a heavyweight. You know what? I will even have like a Frank Mir or whatever.
That commands the cage.
Yeah, because you need to have power to stop him too. So yeah.
No, for sure. Now, Henry Cejudo, the bantamweight champion, defeated Dominic Cruz with a beautiful knee at the end of the second round. It was 4 minutes and 58 seconds when the ref peeled him off. Herb Dean was not the referee that night, and Dominic Cruz actually said that he would have preferred Herb Dean to be the referee. He actually said that the ref smelled like cigarettes and alcohol.
I'm not sure about that. Dana White said it too, so I'm not sure if it's true or not. Guess we'll have to wait a little bit. But you know what? The stoppage was it early or not? For me, it was. But at the end of the day, he got hit real hard by that knee. And even if he stand up, Henry will keep on punching him until he go down again. Henry can do it all. And but this is what pissed me off. Okay. I'm not a huge fan of Henry Cejudo, even though I'm a fan of his abilities, but I'm not really a fan of the man. I was more pissed off when he retired. He's on the top of the mountain right now. Why are you retiring?
What else is there, though? Who else? I mean, do you wait for TJ to come back?
Keep on cleaning a little bit the division, make more money. And maybe, you know what?
I think that's the thing. I honestly think this is a ploy to get more money. I think people are going to be clamoring for Henry Cejudo soon. They're going to be like, hey, where the fuck's Henry? Get Henry back. You know, figure this shit out, Dana. Call him. But if he doesn't come back and it is all figured out that, you know, this is what it is, there is now a vacant bantamweight title. My opinion is it should be Jan versus Aljamain Sterling.
Agreed.
But Henry Cejudo gave up an interesting option too. He said Jan, Aljo, Corey Sandhagen, and Marlon Moraes in a 4-man tournament. That would be an interesting aspect as well. They give the former champion at this point now, Henry Cejudo, because obviously he's retired, so he's no longer a champion. If they give Henry what he would like, who do you think comes out of those four as the new bantamweight champion?
I believe it will depend on who will be fighting who, because if you have the first fight to be Aljamain against Peter Yan, and like you said, those are the two that really deserve a title fight more than Sandhagen maybe or Moraes. I don't know. I would say maybe Peter Yan. I think that he's very dangerous, but you can't really know.
Very well-rounded as well.
Listen, more after we saw this main event, I'm not sure about anything. I swear to God, I'm not sure about it.
I mean, Justin Gaethje had the best game plan possible to face somebody like a Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson. He literally beat the brakes off of Tony Ferguson for 5 full rounds outside of a clean uppercut in the second round that landed. I gave Justin round 1 3, 4, and 5 up until the point where they stopped it. I only gave Tony the second round. Justin Gaethje went in there and put on a masterclass. The smartest and most evolutionary thing that I noticed in my point of view was that instead of jumping into those firefighters, which he would normally do, he stepped out, he would wait, he would see his opening, throw that big right hand. Yeah. Instead of, and normally he would jump into those firefights. Bam, he did it against Eddie. Eddie finished him again, did it against Dustin. Dustin finished him. He learned and evolved from those two mistakes. And now that you see the growth in Justin Gaethje and you've seen this now controlled violence, do you think that it's enough to now take out Khabib Nurmagomedov, because Justin Gaethje now has himself a shiny interim belt that needs his captured? So it needs to be unified. We need to figure out this unification bout. Khabib Nurmagomedov, Justin Gaethje, who comes out on top?
Ooh, that's a very tough fight to predict, because after this fight, if you at any moment you doubted Justin Gaethje was a top level fighter, he proved went out the window. What I know, this is what I know about the Khabib versus Justin Gaethje fight. I know that Ali Abdelaziz will be the happiest person on earth if this fight happened. Those two guys are his guys. So but when it comes to that fight against Khabib, listen, what we said about Khabib is the guy that can defeat him is someone with great striking and tremendous takedown defense. This is Justin Gaethje.
Justin Gaethje has both.
What I had an idea, like before we start talking, this will be the greatest card to have after this lockdown with the crowd in the United States. You have the United States interim champion fighting the undefeated Russian in the United States for the first fight. For the first card with the crowd. I believe that this will be great, maybe in September or something like that. I can't listen, Tony, for me to fight against Conor. This
card?
Las Vegas.
Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas.
I like your style.
Vegas.
That's the way to do it. I mean, it's the fight capital of the United States. I'm not going to call it the fight capital of the world anymore, because I think Abu Dhabi is going to be taking that over here soon. And I have preached that multiple times. I honestly think, though, that, Vegas is the place to have it if you're going to have it in the United States. You can't have it anywhere else besides that. T-Mobile Arena is built for fights. Have Justin Gaethje, Khabib Nurmagomedov fight. And then, like you were about to say before I really interrupted you, Tony Ferguson versus Mr. Conor McGregor.
Yeah, we had yesterday during the event an exchange between McGregor and Nate Diaz on Instagram. Nate Diaz,
and Conor told him, "Hey, just sign it, close your eyes, and sign the contract, bitch."
Yeah.
So but that's also an option, the third fight, because that's always out there. That's always going to be out there, though. I think Tony versus Conor makes sense, and I think Conor beats Tony. Tony is too hittable. I've been saying that. I've been saying that if you have big enough shots, you'll take Tony out, because multiple people have came close. Kevin Lee came very close, and then obviously Michael Johnson beat him. Lando Venata came close with them. People have caught Tony Ferguson before.
And this is what's scary. Maybe Tony is the man that can beat Khabib. Maybe he's the only man that can beat Khabib, because you can keep your hand low against Khabib and survive. The problem is I believe that we will never have this fight, because the fact that Tony lost.
At this point, I believe you're correct.
If Khabib beat Justin and then take the microphone and call out Tony and tell him, I want this fight, I believe it will be a huge sign of respect, but I'm not sure that Khabib will do it. This will be like Michael Bisping calling out Dan Henderson.
Yes.
Yeah, he doesn't really deserve the fight.
I think at this point, I think the next matchup after Gaethje, if he does come through successfully, will be Conor.
Tony needs to fight Conor. Because if you beat Conor, you're right there back in the mix.
Yes, I think Conor McGregor is either your ticket to getting there, or at least your ticket to a big payday.
Yeah.
Either way, you're not bad.
And he's in his 36. People talk about age. Tony Ferguson had more wars than anyone in this cage. How much can he take? He broke his bone. He broke his orbital bone, I believe, yesterday. Justin Gaethje. Yeah. So, those shit, when they are broke, they are never back the same. So,
no, not at all.
Yeah.
All right, well, that about wraps it up for this. Anything else for UFC 249, Wally Wall?
I just want to say, if I was the manager of Tony or some shit like that, I would not agree for that fight. I would say just wait. You will fight your fight against Khabib. Thank you, Tony, for giving us a great main event. Thank you for giving us a huge fight. But I don't think it was the smartest move to have. We talked about it, me and you. We said that this fight is very dangerous. Everybody knew that Justin Gaethje is a gamble. You're gambling. You don't know what kind of Justin Gaethje will be fighting. Even
super dangerous.
Yeah, even if it was the reckless Justin Gaethje who will throw more than 3 combination strikes, he can knock you out. So it was a gamble. He took it. He's a man. Yeah, but I'm not very satisfied when it comes to Tony, because if I was his agent or some shit like that, I would never allow him to fight this fight.
No, I mean, it is what it is. We had it. Yeah. But thank you, Dana, for putting on the fights. That's exactly what we needed last night. And guess what? Dana's got some more for us on Wednesday. Wally Wall and I will be back later to talk about that main event. Anthony Smith, Glover Teixeira, co-main OSP going to heavyweight to face Ben Rothwell. Our boy Alexander Hernandez versus Drew Dauber. Can't wait. Stack card. We'll talk about it later. Wally Wall, anything else for the fans at home?
I actually have a final question for you. Tony Ferguson said that maybe because his training camp, who started very early back in October, maybe, or November, it was more focused on Khabib Nurmagomedov style. Do you think that maybe that was why Tony had his hand so low, or maybe he didn't? It wasn't kind of not the same. What do you think?
I don't think. I at this point, he always talks about you have to be ready for anybody. Tony talks about this. Tony talks about, anybody, anytime, anywhere, I don't care. So you can't really have an excuse when you have an attitude like that. And then also, Dana White brought into question that to 2 weight cuts. Cutting weight a month ago, was that really that smart?
I don't know, because
a lot of questions.
I don't think the problem was in the cardio or the way that he can absorb shots, because he absorbed 100 shots, or I don't know how many, and the cardio was still there. So I believe maybe it was just stylistically, maybe, like you said, if you get punched enough times with a guy like Justin Gaethje, and if Justin Gaethje fights smart, he's a very dangerous fighter. So
controlled Justin Gaethje is a dangerous man. This wraps it up for the UFC 249 recap, guys. Like I said, we'll see you again probably tomorrow to discuss this Wednesday's card. You guys have a good one. Stay classy.